The two countries of India and the UK have historically, as well as still currently to this day, impact and affect the entire globe on a whole. Both of these countries have deep, rich cultural traditions and have a history that have been very closely intertwined. Thanks guys for joining me on another episode of FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton and this is another Which is Better episode. I'm going to be comparing India and the UK, and you guys let me know which country do you think is better. Now before I get into the side-by-side comparison, letting you guys know that this episode of FTD Facts is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is your #1 app for all your football needs, whether it's international football or club football. It gives you real-time alerts on the latest news, transfers, and player stats. But sometimes, like me, you're not able to just be in front of the TV watching games or in front of your computer to get the updates. That's where OneFootball comes in. Everything that you need to know about football is in this app. So the link is down below where you can install it for free. And I'm sharing this with you because our channel is all about international connections. And if there's any sport on this entire planet that I believe every single country and culture can play and knows of, is football. Okay guys, link to that is down below. First country I want to introduce in this episode is India. India is located in South Asia and it's the 7th largest country in the entire world by area and the 2nd most populous country behind China. The Republic of India was established in January 1950 after it gained independence from the British Commonwealth in 1947 and proclaimed a new constitution. Since then, India has existed as a federal republic consisting of 29 states and 7 union territories. The current population of India is 1.35 billion people, so that's 1 of every 6 people on the planet live in India. The country has doubled in size in just 40 years and is expected to pass China as the world's most populated country in the next couple decades. With that, the population density of India is 387.9 people per square kilometer, which ranks it at 31st in the entire world for population density. India's total land area is 3,287,590 square kilometers, and its capital city is the city of New Delhi. Now I want to introduce the United Kingdom. So the United Kingdom is made up of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and it's an island nation in northwestern Europe. The population of the United Kingdom is considered an example of the population that has undergone the demographic transition. That is, the transition from a typical pre-industrial population with high birth weight and mortality rates and only slow population growth through a stage of falling mortality and faster rates of population growth to a stage of lower birth and mortality rates with, again, lower rates of population growth. Historically, British people were thought to be descended mainly from the different ethnic backgrounds that settled there before the 11th century, pre-Celtic, Celtic, Anglo-Saxon, Viking, and Norman. The population of the United Kingdom sits at a total of 66.57 million, and the UK is the world's 21st largest country by population. The United Kingdom is also currently growing at a rate of 0.61% per year. Its total population density is 274.08 people per square kilometer, and the UK has a total land area of 242,900 square kilometers, and its capital city is London. Alright, so that was a brief introduction of both of these countries. Now I want to take a look at the type of money that these countries are using. So India uses the Indian rupee, and how that compares to the US dollar is 1 Indian rupee equals 0.016 US dollars. In the UK, they use the British pound, and 1 British pound equals 1.40 US dollars. Now let's take a closer look at the economy. The economy of India is a developing mixed economy. So what does that mean? It means that it's an economical structure in which both government and private individuals exercise economic control. It is the world's 6th largest economy by nominal GDP and the 3rd largest by purchasing power parity. On top of that, India is the 18th largest export economy in the entire world. According to the latest numbers, India's total GDP according to the latest numbers is $2.26 trillion. and that brings its GDP per capita at $6.57 thousand. In terms of the total exports, based on the latest estimates, India exported $256 billion. Its top exports are refined petroleum, diamonds, as well as jewelry. When we look at the imports of India, the latest numbers indicate that India imported $344 billion, making it the 14th largest importer in the world. And its top imports are crude petroleum, gold, as well as diamonds. Moving on to a closer examination now of the UK's economy. In the 18th century, the UK was the first country to industrialize, and during the 19th century, it had a dominant role in the global economy, accounting for 9.1% of the world's GDP in the year 1870. It is the 6th largest national economy in the world measured by nominal gross domestic product. It's the 9th largest measured by purchasing power parity, and the 19th largest measured by GDP per capita, comprising 3.9% of the world's GDP. It's also the 2nd largest economy in the European Union by both metrics. The GDP of the United Kingdom sits at $2.62 trillion, and that takes its GDP per capita at $42.6 thousand. The latest estimates show that the UK exported $404 billion, making it the 10th largest exporter in the entire world. And UK's top exports are cars, packaged medicaments, and gas turbines. In terms of the imports, the latest numbers show that UK imported $625 billion, and that makes it the 4th largest importer in the world. So what are the top imports? Well, those are gold, cars, and packaged medicaments. Alright, so we talked about the money and the economy. Well, let's take a look at the meat and potatoes, the military power of both of these nations. India is one of the most powerful military nations in the entire world. India really seems to be modernizing its military and its nuclear capabilities, keeping an eye on China. But with that all being said, India ranks 4th on the list of most powerful military nations. The manpower available in India is 616 million people, and they have 1,362,500 active personnel, and the personnel in reserve, they have 2,844,750. For the UK has the 2nd largest budget in NATO and the largest in the European Union and the 5th largest in the world. And it's one of only 5 countries that meets NATO's guidelines to spend 2% of GDP on its defense budget. There was considerable debate towards the end of 2017 when military chiefs in the UK were pressing for a rise in the defense budget due to the UK being more vulnerable than ever to threats from increasingly aggressive Russia as well as extremist terrorist groups. The UK boasts a total manpower of 30 million, and they have 151,175 people as active personnel, and for reserve personnel that number sits at 81,500. Now I want to look at how both of these countries, their army, their air force, as well as their navy match up when we look at them side by side. Looking at India's total army strength, they have 4,426 combat tanks, 6,704 armored fighting vehicles, 292 rocket projectors, 7,414 towed artillery, and for self-propelled artillery, that number is at 290. For the UK, they have 249 combat tanks, 5,948 armored fighting vehicles, 42 rocket projectors, 138 towed artillery, and 89 self-propelled artillery. In terms of air power, India has 676 fighter aircrafts, they have 809 attack aircrafts, 857 transport aircrafts, 323 trainer aircrafts, and the total helicopters that they have in their possession is 666, and total attack helicopters sit at 16. For the UK, they have 88 fighter aircrafts, 168 attack aircrafts, 337 transport aircrafts, 329 trainer aircrafts, 347 total helicopters, and their attack helicopters total is at 39. Now let's see what their navies have to offer. For India, they have 295 total naval assets. India has a total of 139 patrol crafts. Aircraft carriers are at 3, they have 14 frigates, 11 destroyers, 15 submarines, 23 corvettes, and 6 mine warfare vessels. For the UK, they have a total of 76 total naval assets. The UK has 4 patrol crafts, 2 aircraft carriers, 13 frigates, 6 destroyers, and 11 submarines. And finally, they have 15 mine warfare vessels. The total defense budget for India equals $51 billion. And in the UK, that number sits at approximately 45 billion pounds per year on defense. Okay, so that was a military comparison. The last thing I want to take a look at is the cost of living in both of these countries. Which country is more expensive? Which country is cheaper? For this episode, we're going to be comparing the capital cities of London, England, as well as New Delhi, India. When we look at living in London, UK compared to Delhi, India, food is 122% more expensive in London. Housing is 378% more expensive. Clothing is 45% more. Transportation is 416% more expensive. Personal care is 180% more. And entertainment is 147% more expensive than in India. So in total, the cost of living in London is 252% more expensive than if you're living in the capital of Delhi, India. But when we compare the national debts, India has a total national debt of 1.1 trillion US dollars, and India's total debt as a percentage of the GDP is 49.10%. The total national debt for the UK is at 1.39 trillion US dollars, and the UK's debt as a percentage of the GDP is 83%. Okay guys, so that concludes this episode of FTD Facts, and let me know which country do you think is better, India or the UK? And before I wrap up, just a reminder to install OneFootball. This app is all you need for anything football related. I still use it to keep me up to date when I'm working or driving. Again, you can install OneFootball for free. The link is below in this video description. My name is Leroy Kenton, and I'm so done talking right now, so I'll see you guys real soon in another episode. Hey guys, and if you want more FTD Facts, here's a playlist with more Which Is Better episodes where we do more side-by-side comparison of the different countries all around the world. Or if you want some general facts about the different countries, cultures, people, here's a playlist with videos like that as well. Be sure to subscribe if this is your first time here, and I'll see you guys in another episode.